Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Yes, and it stopped working.
Yeah.
So they took the insides out.
Just when I'm leaving, when she goes.
Yes.
No, she's.
We'll go ahead and start. Welcome everybody to our third seminar for this fall. The one coming up in 2 weeks is the Committee for the Preservation of the Grove City Highland Band. And they'll be here to talk about their displays that we have back here and a lot more. It's going to be really interesting. And that'll be on the 21st. Okay. So I don't think I have to introduce our speaker. I think everybody knows the sample, so I'll just let you go ahead.
Okay. This talk that I'm going to give was one my husband did several years ago. In the later years of his professional career, he did research on collectors and collecting. And he had a captive audience at Slippery Rock University. He had staff, students, and colleagues. So he did research on what they collected, what they liked, and here is a pass out on what males and females liked and collected. And there's really no surprises. Women collected figurines. 100% of males collected sports cards, and no women collected them. So we can pass these around. That's just something that he compiled.
I don't see seashells, I collect seashells.
Well, that's under
I wonder what's on those.
that's under organic matter. Yes.
I make seashell crates.
Collecting was popular from the beginning of time. People collected things. It used to be that only the wealthy collected, and they collected art and porcelains and stamps. The average person, you and me, did not collect things. It wasn't until after World War II that people had a little bit of money and they started thinking in terms of collections. They started collecting bells, thimbles, ornaments, many things. And of course the entrepreneur of the time decided, aha, here's something that I can start and make for people to buy. And so they started making things. You and I know that the fewer number of things, the higher the value. So people who are manufacturing things don't like to keep record of how many they have made because they don't want people to know how many they made. Fenton Glass, several years ago, when Frank Fenton, one of their major stockholders and owners, turned 80, they made a Frank Fenton plate. Beautiful red carnival glass. And I think one of ours is number 7,000. We bought 3, one for each of our kids. 7,000, 100, 5,000. I mean, they made a lot of the plates. But apparently they like to keep the numbers that they made secret. Now, how many of you are collectors? Okay. How many of your parents were collectors? How many of your children are collectors? This is interesting. My husband and I were collectors. Neither of our parents nor anyone in our families collected, nor do our children collect things. Our children are slowly beginning to think about things because they know they have this hoard of stuff that they're going to be getting, so they have to start and think about it.
But they want one specific thing. They want one specific thing. My one grandson, I have probably 60 copper molds, each one different, and he wants a great big chicken.
He wants one,
Great
okay,
big chicken.
okay, I understand that.
And if I move it, I don't have anything to put there, so I says, well, you'll have to wait till I get it.
Okay, this program came to be when my husband was asked to give a talk at a Vaseline Glass Collectors Convention in Minneapolis several years ago. And he contacted people whom he knew and asked if he could come in their homes and photograph their collections and show it outside the area. And that was a big point. It would not be shown locally. So we did. And now that he's gone, and it's a nice program, I would like to show it locally, but I remembered that we said it would never be shown locally. So I called these people, and I said, would you have a problem if I showed it? And they all said no. One man said, are they honest people? Do you trust them? I said, oh yeah. I said, okay, no problem. So that's how we got, that's how I came tonight. How many of you watch American Pickers? I love that. You know, there is such a fine line between a collector and a hoarder. My husband contends that there is a hoarder on every block. I don't know of a hoarder on our block, except maybe my husband, who had 60 punch bowls. Get angry with me when I told people that he had 60 punch bowls. So I'm dealing with that by giving some of them away. I gave one to the library. Heather at the library has teas and fancy get-togethers, so I've given her a punch bowl, and our children, if they choose to have one, are getting punch bowls. So I just love American Pickers, and what I love most is the things that the pickers choose. I mean, I look at the things that they want and I think, good grief, you know, it's just interesting. How you begin collecting is interesting. Nobody gets up in the morning and says, I'm going to start to collect today. An event happens. Something reminds you from your childhood, or you see something, or you're given a gift. When we moved here, we came from State College, and we have had a 7-room ranch house. We moved here to a 14-room, 3-story house with a full basement that had 4 more rooms. Needless to say, we had lots of empty spaces. So we were home in Pittsburgh one weekend, and I was trying to see what I could scrounge, and my dad was saying what I was going to steal from the house. And I went down the basement, and Daddy had built shelves under the basement steps, and I was poking around, and I found this bowl.
Oh.
And I said, Mother, what is this? She said, I don't know, I never saw it. And I said, that's gorgeous. Can I have it? She said, take it, I don't know. She said, I never saw it. I said, okay. So, poked around a little more, and I found this candy dish. She said, Skip, I don't know where these things came from. Poked around a little more, and I found 6 tumblers.
How many?
6. Turns out, these things belonged to Grandma. And Grandma had moved and had given them to Mother to keep. Mother forgot about it, stuck them under the steps. These came from the Jewel Tea Company and had either baking soda or baking powder in them. Grandma didn't remember where the other things came from. But I like orange, I like bright colors. So some weeks later, Mother sent me a postcard. This is before texting and cell phones. And she said, Skip, I think those things are valuable. They were in West Virginia. Virginia, and they had gone into an antique shop, and they had seen some carnival glass, and she said, "This stuff is expensive." Okay, so Johnny and I decided we better look at an antique shop. So there was a little shop right across the railroad tracks. The man's name was Patton, and he made false teeth, and he had an antique shop. So we went in there, and that just opened up a world of carnival glass for my husband. He had amethyst and dark blue, and Johnny loved the dark colors. Of course, the dark colors were the expensive things. The marigold was the cheapy stuff, which I still like. If I have a choice of a dark blue or an amethyst piece, I'll take the marigold. Anyway, that was how. And at that time, Wendell August did not have a showroom. They just had a room where everything was in boxes, and you could go in and look at whatever was in the box, and you could buy it half price of what you would buy in a retail store. Dumb us, we didn't like that stuff. So we didn't buy anything. I suppose I probably bought some for gifts, but certainly not for us. But we met Arthur Armour, and we liked Arthur Armour, and we liked the gold. And so I would go and visit him and take my kids, and we would talk to him, and he would sell things that were seconds. At that time, I couldn't afford the things that were first quality, even though they were very reasonable. So for myself, I would buy things that had a little scratch or something, and we just learned not only to like Arthur Armour, but his products. So that went on for years. As you know, I sold real estate, and one day I had listed and sold a house, and as the woman was moving, she gave me a gift, and this was the gift.
Wow.
This is a humidor. Still smells of cigar smoke, but it belonged to Henry Lindbergh Sr., who was our neighbor, whom we thought the world of. This came from his granddaughter-in-law, who had been married to Bob, who died of kidney disease, and she remarried, and they were leaving Grove City. So all of a sudden, my husband started looking at these things a little differently. This was made, you can tell the age of a piece of Wendell August by the mark on the bottom. This was made between 1935 and 1950. So all of a sudden, we started looking at this a little differently and became enthralled with the old Wendell August and the other crafters, Arthur Armour, Palmer Smith. It's interesting how your tastes change. One thing that I wasn't going to bring, but I did. We collect Vaseline glass. Now Vaseline glass has uranium in it, and if you put it under a black light, it glows. You can see how it glows. Now, being a true Vaseline glass collector, you always carry a black light. So, I was selling Louise Bollinger's house down on, off Tidball Avenue. And I looked up on top of the brake front, and here sits this piece of glass. And I said, Louise, do you want to sell that? She said, oh no, that's been in my family. And I said, well, if you do, I told her what I'd pay her for it. And she said, oh no, I could never sell that. I said, well, the offer stands. Next day she called me and she said, would you really pay me for that? And I said, yes. She said, you know, my grandkids are probably going to play in their sandbox with it. And if you like it, you can have it. So all of a sudden, this opened up a whole area of collection for me. My husband thought they were baggy. He didn't like them at all. I now have 13 or 14 of these pieces. And I got on eBay today, and sure enough, there's one. But it's very hard to find them that all these petals are intact. Petal gets knocked off so easily, it's just incredible. So anyway, that's how we got started on our different collections. Yes?
Hey Skip, why is it called Vaseline glass?
Because it looks like Vaseline.
Yeah.
Now this one has a design in it. But the ones that are pure yellow without a design look like Vaseline and they're slippery. They feel like Vaseline.
And it fluoresces under a black light.
Fluoresces under a black light, yes. That's how you can tell. Now, there's glass that will look like Vaseline, but it doesn't fluoresce. That's why you carry your trusty little black light.
Skip, is that a function, is that, what kind of, is it just a bowl, or,
That's a rose bowl.
so what do you do with it?
This is a rose bowl. I personally call these dieters candy dishes because you have trouble getting your hand in them. No, they're rose bowls, and Victorian people would put rose petals in them.
Okay.
And that was supposed to give off a scent in the house. This particular pattern, they really don't know who made it. There are no catalogs that have surfaced that show this pattern. Some people say it was made by Stevens and Williams in England. Some say Herrick, some say Hobbs Bruckner, some say it's Bavarian. They don't know. But as of now, no catalogs have surfaced that show this, but they're from the late 1800s, so
So your first piece was a good
I think so. I like it. My husband didn't, but that's
one?
okay.
I agree with him.
We, this is a good friend of my husband's. Johnny and I didn't agree on a lot of things, but I managed to hold my own. Anyway, we decided to go around and photograph collections, and that's what I would like to show you now. My husband titled this Passion, Pride, and Pathology in Possessions. Tom, can you get us started? Let's see. No, I can do this. Obviously, I'm, now, we're going to show you most of the homes. Let me turn on a light here. Are there two lights on?
Yeah. Oh, one.
Oh,
There you
that-
go.
Okay.
That makes it beautiful.
There are several pictures of homes. This is Bill and Gloria Gordon's house out on Gordon Drive. This is John and Cindy Godlove, who are here. This is their home at Lake Latonka. Marty St. John. Georgie Hodge. This is a house in Mercer. This is the man that said, yes, I could show this as long as everybody was trustworthy. He is a retired biology teacher from Butler. This is Shorty Gilmore on North Center Street. And Terry Rear on Jackson Street. Now, this is my sister-in-law. When people didn't have specific collections, they had china cupboards. And this is her china cupboard. Her husband worked at Alcoa. And you can see the Kensington ware that they had. Several pieces of it. And her mother's china. Then she had the corner cupboard filled with different things. There's some Flo Blue, different things that had come through the family. She is not a collector. These are just family pieces that she had that she liked. This is a little curio that her son gave her. Very sad story. My sister-in-law was in the early stages of Alzheimer's when that picture was taken. We did not realize it then. But she's still living. She's in a nursing home under an Alzheimer's care unit and not doing well at all. And here's Marty. Marty collects jadeite. And part of the beauty of this is how people live with their collections, and you will see how Marty lives with her collection. I love the lamps.
Oh, my.
And here we come to Terry Rear. Terry has an entirely different type of collection. An eclectic collector, he is, collects many things. And then you come to the place where he stores the stuff that he doesn't display. We all have places that look like that. Now, this is Cindy Godlove. Cindy's father was a butcher, correct? And these are some of his pieces of equipment. So when you have a collection, this is obviously how her collection started.
They're wired up there too.
And these are walking egg cups. I had never heard of them. I
It's the
had,
nicest set I've ever seen.
oh, it is, John,
I'd love to have some of those.
I have
That big
never,
one in the middle with the teapot on it. Oh, God.
that, you know, I had never seen these. I'd never heard of them. I just think they're delightful.
Aren't they clever? Oh, my gosh.
And here's Aggie. Aggie was a neighbor of ours in Pittsburgh, a wonderful Italian lady, and she was in the hospital one day. And somebody came to visit her, and there was a dumpster outside the hospital. And they looked in, and there were 3 baby dolls in the dumpster that were brand new. So they crawled into the dumpster, got out the baby dolls, and gave them to Aggie. So she had to have babies to keep those babies company. And that's how she started her baby doll collection. Aggie lived across from us when we were first married and lived in Forest Hills. And if you were real good, on Saturday was Aggie's baking day. And she baked cakes, and if you were real good or did something nice, you got an Aggie cake, and trust me, that was the highlight of the week. She was just a wonderful person.
Cabbage Patch, I remember at Jason Penny, we had a waiting list
Oh,
for Cabbage
yes,
Patch
there
at
was a
all.
line.
Here's Gloria Gordon. Gloria collected Raggedy Ann and Andy. Interesting displays.
Nicely displayed.
And remember Shorty Gilmore? Shorty collected cigarette lighters and belt buckles. And his wife collected early American pattern glass. Shorty lived on North Center Street. Both he and his wife are dead now.
He's my cousin, and his lighter collection moved up to Bricks in Barkeyville, the antique shop.
Oh, is it for sale?
He's got them all. He's got all Donnie's cigarette lighters.
But is he selling them?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, okay. This is off one of the.
They kind of take over, don't they?
Oh, yes. There's the
Oh,
belt buckles.
Oh, my gosh.
And he collected gifts from the, like McDonald's and Burger King and, yeah, the freebies. Now, this is Ron Hale, who works for Filer Auto Body. And as you might guess, he collects cars. He's not allowed to have them upstairs. He can collect anything he wants as long as it's in the basement. We do not have a picture of his house, it's out in Kimberly Estates. Now, remember Aggie? This is Aggie's husband. He collected MGs. Aggie was a carpenter, or Ernie was a carpenter. These are all inspected, they all run, and he drives them. Now this was, Aggie died about 2 years ago, and we stopped to see him. And at this time, they were still all intact. What he has done with them since, I don't know, but they were all in his
How many
basement.
amps? You know?
6 or 7.
Okay, wow.
Okay, yeah.
Did he restore them
Uh-huh,
himself?
uh-huh. He was just a delightful person. When we were expecting our first child, I found a plan for a pendulum cradle. And I took it to Ernie and I said, can you make me a cradle? Sure. So his wife told him that our child was due in October so that it would get finished in time. Michael wasn't due until the middle of November. But we have the most gorgeous pendulum cradle. And it's walnut. He charged us $10 and a case of beer. And then he made 4 more. He had 4 children, and he made one for each of his children. And as of 2 years ago, the pattern for it was still hanging in his basement, and Michael will be 48 in November. So, just a, nice neighbor, nice family.
It's great.
And there's our friend John Godlove.
Yes.
Johnny loved the things that John Godlove collected, and they were numerous.
Oh, wow. Oh, my.
Aren't they nice?
Oh.
And that's all downstairs too.
Yeah.
It's all, and you know what? It's all spotless.
Thank you, Sue.
That's the thing that impressed us. Everything is clean.
Peace. Oh my goodness.
John, do you keep these clean yourself?
Yes.
Okay, look at the
My
tools.
wife does. That's one.
Oh, dear.
Now, we have some of these old tools,
Yeah, I have some.
but they're not displayed or in any condition like this.
Wow.
Now, we get to Georgie and Jeff Hodge. We all know that Georgie collects Wendell August. She also collects Roseville, and she has a beautiful collection of Roseville pottery.
Oh.
There's the gate to a bank. In fact, she donated that to the Historical Society. We have that here.
No, you know right now.
Is it in the window? There's her Roseville. This is a lamp Wendell August made not too many years ago. And there's a Wendell August face. There's Roseville.
It's upside down.
Is that upside down?
How do they stay in
I
there?
thought you had to all pay attention.
They're stuck
I
there.
get, I didn't do this.
Guys on the bottom of the shelf.
Oh, that's neat.
This is Homer Smith,
I was gonna say it's not.
Is the lamp Palmer Smith
Yeah.
also?
probably. This is Natil Rossi, and I don't know about the candlesticks. This is a prototype that Wendell August made. It's bronze and aluminum. And That's our ghost. It was so heavy that they never put it into production. So that's a one of a kind. It's gorgeous. Fireplace screen, G.C. Murphy.
No, it'd be W.
Actually, we have this here, I believe, the Murphy sign.
It's WT Grant.
And they, collect Grove City memorabilia, that's what's in here. And then their room where they store the things that aren't on display. We all have to have those places. And this is the man for Mercer. Now, as you look at this, I want you to understand that everything is spotless. There is not a speck of dust anywhere. He has gorgeous antique furniture, and just look at the things that are here.
What's on the mantles?
It's ruby glass, ruby stain.
Oh, okay.
Does he ever open his windows?
Probably not. In fact, there aren't many chairs that you can sit in. You can see these chairs have things on them. There's a beautiful chest. Ruby stain. I love this. Look at this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 piled high. That's his dining room table.
Maybe 6, I don't know.
Well, there could be a 16 up there.
I think there's a little one.
But again, everything is dust-free. Just incredible.
Skip, how many cats does he have?
I don't forget. There's my husband with his black light. He can testify to pieces.
Looks like a piece of jadeite up there on the top.
Now, is this your house, Kim?
Well, there.
Yeah,
I think it's custard glass.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't think it's jadeite. These are custard glass, and they do glow under a black light, but they're not really Vaseline. These are Conneaut Lake commemoratives.
Oh.
Complete set. Mhm. Paperweights. That's his coffee table in the living room.
You can't hardly run to live, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
And back to the houses that we visited. Okay, let me turn on the lights. As you can see, people live with their collections in many different ways. The fun of collecting has been in the hunt.
Yeah.
You know, you go out, you have something you're looking for, you enjoy finding it. That has changed, and it has changed within the last few years because of the internet. As I said earlier, I went on eBay today and I found one of these pieces. There's a woman in California right now who is selling off her aluminum collection. And if you go on eBay, she has some not unique, but very rare, attractive pieces for sale. So all of a sudden, instead of being limited to Western Pennsylvania, Eastern Ohio, West Virginia, Southern New York, where we used to go, most of these antique malls are closed. Or if they are still open, the quality pieces are not there. They're on eBay. And so collecting has taken on a whole new area of interest, frustration. However, literally the whole world has been opened up through eBay, because you can find pieces from Australia, from England, from wherever, and if you want to pay the exchange rate and the shipping costs, it's there for you. So collecting is fun. It's an enjoyable pastime. We used to tell our children we were going on ERTs, and they'd, furrow their brow. What's an ERT? It was an estate reduction trip. We were going to buy stuff, and my husband loved it. We were going on an ERT, and he just had a wonderful time. So times have changed. I'm now at the stage where I have to decide how to dispose of these things. One of the things that my husband collected was model cars and trucks and construction equipment, and he also saved the boxes. So I thought, good. Yesterday I went up to the 3rd floor and I thought, I'm going to start and put these things back in the boxes and get them ready for the kids to do what they want. Did you ever try to put toothpaste back in the tube? You take these things, they're out of the box, and the boxes have a picture of what the item is, so it's no problem to find it. But try and get it back in? Anyway, I got 6 or 7 pieces back in, and closed that box and brought out the next box, and the first box I picked up said Cadillac 1931. I have no clue what a 1931 Cadillac looks like. My daughter said this morning, maybe it's written on the bottom, Mom, what that is. So what I thought was going to be an easy task is turning out to be not so easy, especially when these things are all over the house and all the boxes are all over the house. So one of the downsides of collecting is at the end of your life, you have to decide what to do with the things. I had a phone call yesterday from Chuck Bestwick, who many of you know, and he had some questions about aluminum. And he is starting to decide how to dispose of his aluminum. And he has some beautiful Palmer Smith pieces because his uncle worked for Palmer Smith and made pieces for the family. And so we talked about this problem of disposition of goods, and it's an interesting situation. It's a problem. Yes. Yes. The Wendell August is a classic example of somebody who makes things for a collecting public. They make the Christmas plates. You have no idea how many are made. They make the ornaments. I've got the ornaments from when they first started. My grandchildren have them from when they were born. But they've made thousands of them. There's no rarity to them. We're fortunate to have a man, Bill Gordon, whose wife was the Raggedy Ann and Andy collector in the pictures. He buys us a bronze and pewter Christmas plate each year. So collecting is interesting, it's fun, and then at the end of your life, it can cause a problem. I don't want to pass a problem on to my children, but I'm afraid they're going to have a challenge ahead of them. So. Any questions? Yes, Lynn.
There are a lot of specialty auctions, and I think in our area, you can't sell what we collect because there aren't buyers for it in our area. So I think you have to look at the specialty auctions, and some of those are out of the country.
Our glass collection, the Carnival Glass, there is a Carnival Glass auctioneer in Greenville, Ohio, which is at the Ohio-Indiana border. We've dealt with them for years, and that's probably where our glass will go. The aluminum, a lot of my aluminum right now has made it to Houston, Texas. Our son likes it and has taken some of my prized Palmer Smith pieces there. So hopefully our children will take things and I won't have as much, they won't have as much to dispose of when I'm gone. Yes, Tom?
One of the issues of what to do with things people should think about is the existence of Grove City Area Historical Society.
Yes.
And part of its function
Yes.
is to preserve artifacts
The
and
history,
things.
heritage, and existing artifacts.
And it doesn't mean the whole collection, it's examples of the collection.
Yes.
And so, as you try to decide what we're going to do with this, you set aside some of it with its story, the story of the person that's collecting, how it came about, and the nature of the items. And now you have a little legacy, and then it can be preserved. Whereas if you go to a type of specialty auction, guess what?
It's gone.
It's all gone. That's okay, but what about the story, the life of the person that collected?
There's a couple factions in the disposition, and one is the personal satisfaction of the owner. And going to an auction does not provide satisfaction.
No,
It provides
you're right.
immediate
Yeah.
financial reward,
Right.
but no satisfaction. Having children take it is what you ultimately want. When I talked with Chuck yesterday, we talked about him donating to the Historical Society, and he's going to give one of each example of the different crafters to the Historical Society. But for example, our glass tong, it's not made in Grove City. It has no connection to Grove City. And we have to be so careful. I would like to say that I'm prominent enough in the town that Johnny and I's should have some of our collection here, but that's not realistic. We have to focus on Grove City items. And the glass was not made here, did not come from here, and so it has to go somewhere else. But the aluminum, yes, definitely. So,
I'd like to remark, I heard at an auction one time, a man said, till we're 56 years old, we're constantly drawing in and collecting. After 56, is what you're saying, what do we do with it? And just leave it at that. But another thing I'd like, while I have your attention, I'd like Jim Hendrick to be here and tell a story. When I looked at this and saw that the males was 100% on sports cars. One day I was up, he run the gas station for years, but a bunch of us falls together around up there and tell them stories. One thing, Jim said, I had a very shocking experience one time. He says, I went out to visit my mother, and he said, from the time I was a small young boy, I collected sports cars. And he said, I knew that I had filled up 4 shoe boxes with cards from way back when he was very young, but maybe take you back in the 30s. And he said, I had them stored in the end of my closet up in my bedroom. And he said, I checked from time to time for years they were there. But one time he thought, well, I ought to get them cards out that people were talking about. They're very valuable and everything. So he went out one day and he said, Mom, he says, is them shoe boxes up there in the corner of the one end of the closet at my bedroom? And she kind of hesitated a little bit, and she says, Jim, one time I was really cleaning out and everything. This is quite some time ago. I had a good bonfire going out there, and I just took them 4 boxes out and got rid of them.
not unusual.
Yeah.
Yes.
Last year when we were in Seattle, we went to a cafe that was connected to the Dale Chihuly Class Museum, and he's a big collector, and they had made all the tables in the cafe were shadow boxes, and each one had a theme. And there would be Christmas ornaments in one, and there'd be little mechanical toys in another, and they gave you a little book when you go into the cafe to explain the collections. And so it made for him it was a real nice way to dispose of his collection, but still have folks enjoy it.
Here's an article that I found in my husband's things on collections should be fun but serious from the start. And it talks about wallet whipping. When you start collecting things, you see something and you whip out your wallet and you buy it. And just interesting reading. And another article, you probably know Reg Henry, who is a writer for the Sharon Herald. And he is in the process of downsizing. And this could have been written about just about any one of us. We have too much stuff. So I thought you would enjoy reading this. Yes, John?
Do you have any advice on how to contain a collection? I'm not sure if you're qualified. Do you have advice in this area?
With 60 punch bowls in my house?
Oh, I heard there was 100.
No. How to contain a collection? You have to be very serious in what you collect and stick to it. The Historical Society is faced with this right now. We have to be very specific in what we collect. And if something doesn't meet our criteria of being from Grove City and the surrounding townships, we have to say thank you, but no thank you. And you have to do that with your own things. I have stopped collecting. I am no longer buying anything because I'm now in the phase that I have to think in terms of disposition. So I stopped last year.
I wrote that down, Skip.
No.
I wrote that down.
Nope, I saw it, but I didn't buy it, and I'm not going to. There is a piece that
I know what it is. Yes, I do.
that Bonnie Campbell has.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think she has one.
Yeah, I think there's a piece that I would like to have. I cheated. I told my kids after my husband died, I stopped buying anything, and I cheated, I bought one thing. I bought one thing since December 7th, and that's it. I'm stuck to it. You know, what do you think I'm wanting?
I was fluted bowl with a handle.
No.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Well, I didn't see it anywhere. You told me you did.
No,
That you wanted.
no. I'm not, there's a tray that I think is Bonnie Campbell's. 9x13 tray that has a handle. And it's interesting. But it's,
Made by Wendell.
yes.
If Marty doesn't tell how she decided to
Oh,
collect
yeah.
jadeite, I will.
Okay, go ahead.
It was on my birthday.
Yes, which is today.
Yeah. But many years ago.
Yeah.
And she had taken me to the Emlenton, was it the Emlenton Antique Mall?
Mill.
Mill.
for lunch.
And we were upstairs looking around, and she said, "This is pretty. What is this called?" I said, "Jadeite." She says, "I'm gonna collect this." I used to could find pieces for a quarter at yard sales.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
anymore, never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I hope you all appreciate your collections and think of the pleasure that you have, wonderful things you can go through and remember when you collected something, what you were doing, where you bought it. Those are the joys of a collection.
Yeah, the chase is.
Sure, the chase is fun. We have punch and cookies, so just wait a minute and we'll get on with the refreshments.
Gary,
On the punch bowl?
I wanted to show you my daughters, two of them.
Johnny, the bigger and the heavier the piece of glass, the better he liked it. So punch bowls were big and they were heavy and therefore he liked them. No. But we have, there's one pattern of a punch bowl that we have 12 of them.
Why didn't you show your collection?
Well,
That's just it. Here's what I think is in one foot. This is in the front one, then we rest of it. So you've got she's a picture of it. She's looking for cut glass. Marty's house, so Dr. Weldon did the garbage. That's how she
Yeah.
This wasn't in your,
I had to stop. My parents flew to Hawaii.
Fabulous collection of fabric.
Perfect wallpaper.
As far as I know, he's still alive.
Doesn't ask the
We're cleaning it today.